Today, we're joined by SJSU staff Carolyn Oyang and Zahira Ramirez, who will provide advising and program support for current and potential students in our interdisciplinary studies program. And today, they're going to share about how they support our student success beyond the classroom. Thanks to you both for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having us, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. That intro was always a mouthful for me. Okay, so before we get into today's topic, I wanted just to create some space for each of you to introduce yourself to our viewers so they can learn a little bit more about each of you, who you are, and how you got to where you are today. So I was wondering if you could each highlight a few of the significant moments that shaped who you are and led you to become an SJSU staff member for our interdisciplinary studies program, which is part of SJSU Online. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead and jump in.
Sure, I'll go first. So hi, everyone. My name is Carolyn Oyang, and I'm the major advisor for this program. And a little bit about how I found myself here. I was an English major when I was an undergrad. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then I started tutoring literacy, and I loved it. So I fell in love with teaching. I became an English teacher. And then I got a little burnt out. And I thought, you know what, I still want to support students. And so I sidestepped into advising and student support services. So I'm really happy anytime I'm able to offer advice, guidance, just like even to just listen to some of the common struggles students go through. I'm always so happy to be of support. And I look forward to potentially having you join our program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zahira, and I'm in studies program. I've been in and a little bit about myself. But my family is originally from Mexico. First generation, my parents have always instilled in me the importance of higher education, advantage of the great opportunities. This is why education is everything. I'm from San Jose Public Health in the spring of 2021. I have always had a passion for people and being the form it is. And admin support. College of Education from the moment I transferred. So that was about 2 years. Then after graduation, I was offered a position, which is what I'm doing now. And I the opportunity because I knew I would be working with when I got that we're gonna have my back support me. That the fields is also a reflection of the amazing work the college does.
Awesome. Well, thanks to you both for sharing a little bit of background about how each of you have kind of gotten to where you are and some of the key moments that kind of shaped who you are. Zahira, I did want to point out, I think your mic is kind of cutting in and out a little bit. So I'm wondering if maybe while I'm just doing a recap, if you could open up the settings and just check your audio real quick. But I think overall, we kind of got the gist of what you were sharing, and I can kind of fill in a little bit. I know I've worked with you previously in the Lurie College of Education when you were working there as a student, and then you were offered a job there after you graduated, and now you're supporting the interdisciplinary studies program as part of that college. So I think for both of you, what was interesting was to see the commonality of, while neither of you maybe saw yourselves specifically in these types of roles when you were younger, it was kind of the culmination of each of the experiences and opportunities that you had, where one thing kind of led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, which led to where you are now. So, of course, really excited to be working with you both and just excited to see where you go from here. But I think that's just a really good message and story for our viewers too, to think about how their experiences have led them to this point of thinking about completing their degree with SJSU Online and where that can lead them to as they go forward. So thanks so much for sharing that background. So now to transition into today's topic and really dive into how each of you really support students beyond the point of them enrolling in SJSU Online and thinking about their continued success in the program and beyond the class. First, I wanted to get into what does enrollment support look like for students after they've committed to these programs? How do you help them stay on track within their program roadmap to make sure that they're taking the courses that they need to and the sequences that they need to, and that they can graduate in the time that they need to? So Zahira, if you want to respond first, and then Carolyn, if you want to add anything in, feel free to go for it.
Hear me just fine. So as a so when the students have questions, I'm the first point of contact, and after the application process and after enrollment, Carolyn is the advisor, and she always, throughout the students are completing their degree, she is an amazing advisor, attentively to their needs. I provide community resources, whether you're compelled to also provide support, community resources, and all for students, and I do it with respect, since we focus on communicating with the students, letting them alone, and the same support as traditional students. We always try to find solutions and within their communities where they reside, if it's financial or any of those, we listen and we try to support as best as we can. Carolyn, I don't know if you want to add anything.
Sure. Thank you, Zahira. To echo what Zahira said, there is so much hands-on, individualized support that Zahira provides, even when you're still researching the program. So anytime you do have questions, you see something on our program website you're curious about, please feel free to email us or call us. Zahira is the one answering the phone. She's the one who's fielding the initial emails. As you can see, she is extremely patient, very calm, very nice, and very much about supporting students and making sure that you have your questions answered. So please never feel like you're annoying us or taking up time. Like, please never apologize for any questions you have, because it's important to Zahira and me that you have all your concerns addressed so you can make an informed decision as you choose to move forward with completing your degree. So in addition to answering the phone and answering emails, Zahira, she has prepared an application guide for new students. If she sees there's an area you're stuck on with the application, she's there to help troubleshoot, to help find the solution. Sometimes it's a technical issue that she's able to help you navigate around. Sometimes there really is something that's in the application setting that was incorrectly populated, that she can help rectify as well. And once you're admitted, there's a lot of onboarding, of course, that she and I support you with, such as orientation, making sure that you understand all the technical pieces of being a student. For enrollment, one thing that is unique about our program is we don't have wait lists. We don't have classes that get full like after the first day. And the reason is because Zahira, she meticulously manages each class schedule, the enrollment, the vacancies, and Zahira personally will provide you as a student with a unique ad codes as well as instructions on how to find the class in the MySGSU interface, how to enroll in it, and what the precise information you should see is. And at any time, if you do struggle with enrollment, again, Zahira, she's very accessible via phone and email. And we encourage you to reach out to us as you, again, explore your options and hopefully choose to enroll with our program.
Awesome. Well, thanks to you both for providing a little bit about that background of how students get that ongoing support as they're going through the enrollment process and committing to the program and not just beginning, but like throughout the program. And specifically highlighting like not just the number of ways that they can receive support and communications, whether it's by phone or by email, but that there's also an abundance of ways that they can do that. There's online resources available. There's actually one-to-one support. And I think overall what I just heard from both of your responses too is that you're really trying to make the entire experience as seamless and as streamlined as possible, just to make sure that people are able to successfully move from one stage to the next stage to the next stage, and be able to persist through all the way to graduation. And I know Zahira touched upon this a little bit in her response. This is what I wanted to get into the next couple of topics, is really thinking specifically about the types of communications and engagement opportunities and resources and things along those lines. So Caroline, I was wondering if you can share a little bit about like what types of communications do you all share out to students, And are there different opportunities for things like community building, professional development, or things like that that they can participate in while they're enrolled?
Yeah, sure, of course. So there are several ways that Zahira and I, as well as John, our program coordinator, all work together to support you. But as a major advisor, I'm generally the primary point of contact. You will hear from me every week. And I hope it's always good news that you hear from me. But you might get a little tired. I will be in touch throughout the time that you're enrolled in our program because, as Brian has mentioned, as Zaida has mentioned, it's so important to us that you know, complete what you're here to do, to graduate. So, in addition to weekly outreach, that ranges from just like a hey, happy Friday, have a great weekend. There are going to be lots of emails of reminders of hey, don't forget this is the deadline to do this, for example, or remember to apply for FAFSA for the upcoming year, for example. So there are a lot of general announcements that I will send out that are relevant to you, related to simply being a student at San Jose State University. I will also frequently email opportunities for professional development, as many of our program students are hoping to be teachers in the future. Anytime I see mandated reporter training available online, anytime I see mental health and wellness, social emotional learning kind of opportunities for teachers and would-be teachers to engage in online, I will always send those out in email announcements, as well as populate them in a Google Calendar, which is basically a tool that we want students to have access to. Our program has a Google Calendar, and in addition to marking off the days and times of our synchronous classes, we also populate into the calendar different kinds of online opportunities for, again, professional growth, for additional learning, for extra engagement. So sometimes we do have professors engaging in research. And if they have an opportunity for you to participate as a student, by all means, we want you to take advantage of that. In the past, we have had different clubs and networking opportunities for students. There's a parent club, as many of our students are, you know, parents of young children, and we really want to ensure that even though you're online, you have an opportunity to establish connections and rapport and community with each other. And this is something we're very proud of in our program that, again, even though everything is online and remote, we have a very strong sense of community, and we do have students who have created study groups together by using, you know, WhatsApp or just different kinds of apps to stay connected, even when they're not, you know, logged into Zoom in class. We have students who are collaborating together to identify opportunities for the university to provide additional resources that could benefit, you know, aspiring educators who, you know, for various circumstances can only complete their education online. So, you know, these are some of the many wraparound support services we try to offer to keep you engaged in your studies, to keep you motivated to complete your studies. And as Zaida mentioned previously, there is a roadmap that we provide at the onset of your time here. And it's really to give you a visual aid to see how everything you've accomplished previously is applied toward completing this degree and what are the next steps to completion. So oftentimes students who transfer into our program have anywhere between 17 to at most 20 SJSU classes to finish to graduate. And for students who may have previously attended SJSU or previously attended another CSU campus, in some cases we have had students with as few as 12 classes required so that they can graduate. So it's always a good idea to look at your roadmap periodically, you know, while you're enrolled. But in the background, I'm going to be updating your roadmap as well. Every semester, I'm going back in to mark off the classes you've completed so that you can see what are you taking next and what do you have to take so that you can graduate.
I would also like to add that we have hosted a game night and a movie night. We have gotten feedback that the students really enjoy those kinds of. It's a way for us to get together. The students get to interact, meet each other, talk a little bit more. From made study groups together and like meet the other students, and interact.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you both sharing like such thorough and specific examples of, like Carolyn, as you described it, like the wraparound services, the engagement opportunities that you all have already have in place for students in the interdisciplinary studies program, because that program has existed now for a year, and that we plan to have in place for students who are enrolling in our other programs at SJSU Online as well. I think we want people to know that this is a lot more than just enrolling and taking classes online. And that might be the experience for some people. That's what they're looking for. But I think we want people to know that there's opportunities for much more than that too. There's opportunities to build relationships with their classmates, with the faculty and the staff, opportunities for research, as you pointed out, opportunities for community building, socializing, networking, professional development, all these sorts of things we want people to be able to access through SJSU Online. So thank you for sharing some of those examples with us. And then to get into kind of our next subtopic, Zahira, you referred or alluded to this a little bit earlier. If a student is in need of support beyond their classes, are there resources available for that? I know you kind of just mentioned like some general examples, but can you share maybe an example of what that's looked like without kind of obviously disclosing anything specific about any particular student or anything like that, but just to give people a sense of what that level of support could look like?
So when it comes to support, sometimes we've had instances where support with maybe child live, maybe they want to find if they child care, they support financial support things, and I'm glad to go and search for kinds of community resources and lives. Sometimes Santa Clara County and focus on resources near them live, so that they are support.
Awesome. I think I got the gist of that. I'll recap in a moment. But Carolyn, is there anything you wanted to add?
Sure. In addition to what Zahira mentioned, SJSU as a university is extremely aware of some of the struggles that students go through. And because being a student now, it really isn't like what it was in decades past. Students have so many more responsibilities. There's so many financial stressors. There are a lot of difficulties. And so as an institution, SJSU has established SJSU Cares, which is a great resource for students, including remote learners, to access. And SJSU Cares, they will connect students to community agencies, for example, that may offer specific types of support, depending on the student's situation. So these are all handled on a very confidential, individualized, case-by-case basis. So Zahira, she is extremely resourceful at finding community nonprofits and organizations that offer a host of services. And anytime you do encounter a struggle, whether it's a financial struggle or something changed at home and now you need support, balancing childcare in addition to work, for example, please feel free anytime to reach out to Zahira and me. We keep everything, of course, confidential. We respect your privacy, and what our priority is ultimately is simply to get you the support you need so you can continue to succeed in your studies.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks again to you both for sharing some examples and some resources related to that. I mean, I completely agree with you. I think on one hand, we're hopeful that SJSU Online will increase access to higher education for so many people where accessing it has been challenging, whether you're maybe working full time or you're a parent or you're juggling so many other responsibilities or constraints. At the same time, just having this online option doesn't resolve everything. So it's just really helpful to know that we have additional resources available through SJSU, like SJSU Cares, and we have staff available who care enough to ensure that they're willing to go the extra step and really look into additional resources to help support our students to make sure that they can continue to focus on their classes, continue to persist from one term to the next, and again, reach that goal of completing their degree, getting their bachelor's, and being able to leverage that to move forward in their lives. So thanks so much to you both. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for today. So again, want to thank you both for sharing your insights about the value of SJSU Online, and thank you to our viewers for watching. As always, please like this video, comment on it with your questions or feedback, visit our SJSU Online website to learn more about our programs and get connected with our enrollment counselors, and we'll see you next time.